My name is John Thompson, and I never believed in the supernatural until it became an inescapable part of my life. In the summer of 2023, my wife Mary, our two children Jake and Emily, and I moved into an old Victorian house in the quiet suburbs of New Jersey. The house was everything we had dreamed of: spacious, charming, and seemingly perfect for our fresh start. We had saved for years to afford it, and the day we got the keys was one of the happiest moments of our lives. The first few days in the new house were filled with the hustle and bustle of unpacking and settling in. There was an undeniable sense of joy and excitement as we decorated the rooms and explored the large garden. However, it didn't take long for that excitement to be overshadowed by a growing sense of unease. On our first night, as we sat in the living room watching TV, we heard a faint creaking noise. It was as if someone was walking up the old wooden stairs. I dismissed it as the house settling, but Mary looked visibly disturbed. "Did you hear that?" she asked. I nodded but tried to downplay it, not wanting to scare the kids. The following day, while organizing the basement, I heard faint whispers. They were almost imperceptible, but unmistakably human. I froze, trying to make out the words, but they stopped as abruptly as they had started. I shrugged it off as my imagination, but when I mentioned it to Mary, she admitted she had heard whispers too, while in the kitchen. As days turned into weeks, the occurrences became more frequent and more disturbing. Doors would creak open on their own, cold drafts would sweep through the rooms, and we constantly felt like we were being watched. One evening, while we were all in the living room, a loud crash came from the kitchen. We rushed in to find all the drawers and cabinets open. Their contents spilled onto the floor. The sense of unease had turned into outright fear. One night I woke up to find Emily standing at the foot of our bed, her eyes wide with terror. "Daddy, there's a man in my room," she whispered. My heart raced as I grabbed a flashlight and rushed to her room. I found nothing, but the room was ice cold. The feeling of dread was overwhelming. Desperate for answers, I started researching the history of the house. I discovered that it had been built in the late 1800s by a man named Richard Blackwood, who was rumored to have been involved in dark magic. The locals believed he had summoned a demonic entity known as a jinn and bound it to the house. Blackwood had died under mysterious circumstances, and the house had been abandoned for years before being put up for sale. I contacted a local historian named Sarah, who specialized in the occult. When she visited the house, she immediately sensed a dark presence. "There is something very old and very evil here," she said. She explained that jinn were powerful supernatural beings mentioned in ancient texts, capable of influencing and even possessing humans. The more she spoke, the more it became clear that we were dealing with something beyond our understanding. Sarah suggested a cleansing ritual to banish the jinn. She prepared a mixture of herbs and holy water, and we set up candles in the basement, where the presence felt strongest. As she began the ritual, the temperature dropped drastically and the whispers grew louder. Shadowy figures appeared in the corners of the room, their eyes glowing with malevolence. It felt like the house itself was alive, watching us, waiting for us to fail. The ritual was intense. Sarah chanted in a language I couldn't understand, and the shadows grew more agitated. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the basement, and a deafening scream echoed through the house. The shadows recoiled, and then everything went still. The oppressive feeling that had plagued the house was gone, replaced by a sense of peace and calm. In the following days, the strange occurrences stopped. The house felt lighter, more welcoming. We made renovations, painting the walls and bringing in new furniture, transforming it into a home filled with love and laughter. The memory of the jinn haunted us, but we were grateful to have reclaimed our house from its dark influence. Life went on, and we tried to put the experience behind us, but the encounter with the supernatural left an indelible mark on our family. It taught us the importance of faith, courage, and the power of love in overcoming darkness. We never spoke of the Jinn again, but we kept a photograph of Sarah and her book of spells in our living room, a reminder of the battle we had fought and won. As the years passed, we settled into our lives in the house. Jake and Emily grew up, went to school, and made friends in the neighborhood. The house, once a place of fear and dread, became a sanctuary for our family. We hosted holidays, birthday parties, and family gatherings, filling the rooms with joy and laughter. But every now and then, something would remind us of the Jinn. A cold draft would sweep through a room, a door would creak open on its own, or a faint whisper would echo in the hallway. We would look at each other, a silent understanding passing between us, and then we would carry on, knowing that we had faced the darkness and come out stronger. One evening, years after the cleansing ritual, I was sitting in the living room reading a book. The house was quiet, with Mary and the kids out for the evening. As I turned a page, I heard a faint whisper. I looked up, my heart pounding, and saw a shadowy figure standing in the doorway. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling. The figure stepped forward, and I could see that it was not the Jinn. It was the ghostly apparition of a woman, her eyes filled with sadness. "Help me," she whispered. I stood up, my fear replaced by a sense of determination. "What do you need?" I asked. She pointed toward the basement, and then she disappeared. I grabbed a flashlight and headed downstairs, my heart racing. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, I saw the ghostly figure again, standing by the far wall. She pointed to a spot on the floor, and then she vanished. I moved some boxes aside and found a loose floorboard. I pried it up and discovered a small, dusty box hidden underneath. Inside the box were old letters and photographs, revealing a tragic story of love and loss. The woman had been Richard Blackwood's wife, who had died under mysterious circumstances, her spirit trapped in the house along with the Jinn. I contacted Sarah again, and we performed another cleansing ritual, this time to free the woman's spirit. As we completed the ritual, the basement filled with a warm, comforting light, and the ghostly figure appeared once more, smiling with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, and then she was gone. From that day on, the house was truly at peace. The whisper stopped, the cold draft ceased, and the sense of being watched vanished. We had freed the spirits trapped in our home, and we could finally move forward without the shadow of the past hanging over us. Our lives continued, filled with love, happiness, and the occasional memory of the supernatural battles we had faced. We knew that the house held a special place in our hearts, a place where we had overcome darkness and found the strength to protect our family. And so our story became one of resilience, courage, and the unbreakable bond of family. We had faced the demonic presence of a Jinn, freed the trapped spirits, and transformed a haunted house into a home filled with light and love. It was a journey we would never forget, a testament to the power of faith and the enduring strength of the human spirit.